thing. And I have started the recording now. And Shava, if possible, like just maybe if you can ping that link in the chat window. So we like I actually want to have a look in that. So later.
1 second. So you'll have to fill in a few details before you can download it. Since it's on our company's website,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
share the link
Okay.
there. You'll have to enter a
Yeah,
few details like name and all.
okay, great, great, sure. So it's an internal blogging platform of your company.
It's not internal. It's on our main website. Our product is
Yeah.
called Subix Secure. So on our
Okay.
main website for the product, we have our blog. I'll just share.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So, okay. So let's go with this one now. Malware. So the malware sample, I'll be saying that post this class. So the malware we'll be using today is the getdown.exe. So let's quickly copy this to the VM. So I have got the malware now, and let's unzip it here. Just one minute. I'm actually not able to decrypt that. Just one moment. Okay, I got the link. Just one moment, guys. There is some problem I'm facing with that unzipping that malware. So I'm just trying to get that sample once again. So let's see if I can download get down. Okay, the malware is actually not, I'm not able to unzip that. So yeah, it started now. Thanks. So let's go to the window and let's go to the IDOC Pro, do the control N and Okay, let's close this. Let's open this and go to the
So then
executive.
I faced one problem while analyzing a malware. So what
Okay.
happened is that when I was able to find one function in IDA Pro, but I was not able to find the same function in OD debugger. Like if I found some artifact in IDA Pro, but I want to see the same debugged in see the same code in OD debugger, I was not able to map it because the function
Okay.
names were different.
Yeah. The problem is because with the Oli debug. So IDA Pro is quite like kind of quite a good software. It does a lot of good analysis, but Oli debug is not that powerful as IDA Pro. Okay, so that's why what will happen, like mostly in IDA Pro you will get more details, but in Oli debug you will be getting less details. Like over there, it has some. I was talking about that analytic FLRIT kind of module which is embedded in IDA Pro. So over there, it has some code analysis and it can tell, okay, if which function it is, and it will rename that function also. So, but those functions are quite less in Oli debug. So that will be the main reason actually you are facing that kind of difference while using that tool. Okay.
Because for that particular ransomware, I think I was able to find that particular function, which was the function for encryption and decryption. Because of the API calls and studying the disassembly, I was able to figure out that this is the encryption function. But I wanted to debug that particular function command by command, step by step. But I was not able to do it because I was not able to find that function in OLE debugger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you also kind of like did that dealer characteristics off, like ASLR was off for that?
I know I turned everything on with that Skylab plugin, right? There was an option to turn on ASLR, so I did that.
Or you did that also? Okay.
Yeah.
Turn off the list. Yeah, so mostly thing is like with that, maybe the offset should help. Okay, like suppose in IDA Pro you are seeing the offset. Suppose
Pragyan, little disturbance is coming from your voice.
okay, just 1 minute, I'll just get my.
Is it somewhat better now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Pragyan.
Yeah. So what I will say is like in the IDA Pro, when you see suppose you're seeing the function, you note down the address of that. Okay. And in Oli debug, when you go, you just go directly to that address. So that can be one of the way to kind of to use both the tools and kind of
I
get.
tried that also, like going to the specific offset,
Okay.
but even the code wasn't matching for some reason.
Okay.
I'll show it to you in the next class. I'll try
Okay.
to write down the function, then I'll show it to you in the next class.
Sure. Yeah. That will be helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now right here, what I did was like I went to the names window. So first I went to the view, went to the executable, and then kind of like went to that .exe file, and from there, if you do a control N in the Oli debug, you will be able to see what all functions are getting called inside from this exe file. So over here, we clearly see that okay, from kernel32.dll, this function is called is debugger present, and then we can also see kernel32.get tick count over there. So what we have to do right now is kind of how we can kind of evade that. So right now, what will happen, like if I run this malware, because of this function, it will able to detect that it is running inside debugger, and then it will quickly like terminate itself. So we have to kind of do something right now with without using plugin to and kind of patch this software, okay, this malware. Okay, so how we will be going to do is like, so the first thing, we now are in the correct window that we know that is debugger present is there, and now you do a kind of let's do the find references for that from where it is getting called. Okay, so let's do that. uh,
So again, will a legit software or a legit exe ever have this functionality is debugger present?
yeah, definitely it will have that actually. Yeah, most of the legit function also have, like, suppose they're like I was actually using one forensic tool, and suppose the forensic tool has some license thing and it doesn't want that someone is running inside a VM or trying to do a reverse engineering of its software. So most of the time, if they doesn't want, so they will actually use that those functions, is debugger present and all, to kind of protect itself from doing a reverse engineering. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go to the window, find references. And find references. So when I clicked on that find references, I'm able to see that, okay, this is the line, this is a line from where in the exe file from where this function is getting called, the is debugger present. Okay, and now if I go over here, so you can see that is debugger present is getting called at this offset A31290, and post that just below that there are two instructions, test EAX and then jump not 0, and then it is something like that. Okay, so what we will do is that we will put a breakpoint over here. Okay, and we will let this software, kind of this malware, run. So let's perform a breakpoint over here, toggle, and we have put a breakpoint, and let's kind of run the malware sample. It got terminated. Okay, before even reaching this thing, it actually got terminated. Restart. Now run. Okay, got it. Okay, restart. Now run. Yeah, now actually it is in our breakpoint, if you see. So this function has been called, the is debugger present, and then it is going to execute this line, test EAX, and then it is doing a jump not 0. Okay, so what is happening over here right now is that this test this function got called, and what it will do is actually it will return the result of this function if debugger was present in the EAX register. So now if we go and look at the EAX register, we will see that the value of 1 is here. Okay, so this 1 will be returned only if the is debugger, if this malware is running inside debugger. If it was not, the EX will contain the value 0. So any questions till now?
No, again, no
No,
question.
Okay, so now what will happen is, like, it will actually test, it will use the test function. It is, I think this test function we discussed, like it's something kind of an AND function. It does some AND and then check, okay, what's the final value. Okay, and after that, what this function will do, the jump not 0, it will see, like, okay, if so actually this test function will actually set the 0 flag. So let's see that in a much more easier way. So this is a 0 flag, it seems. So it is 0. So let's do line by line now. And yeah. So now you see that it is actually 0 over here. Okay. The 0 flag is 0 over here. Okay. And now jump not 0. So let's see that. So we have this till here point, and I'll just discuss that in some more detail. So what it does is this line, the first line, is debugger present, actually check for the presence of debugger and returns 1 in EAX if debugger is present. Then test whether this EAX is 0. Okay, this is something that what it does, and then jump away if EAX is not 0. Okay, so if EAX is not 0, then the debugger is present. Okay, so there is some kind of jump if not 0. Okay.
So it will take the jump when debugger is present, right?
Yeah, it will actually take the jump only when the debugger is present. Okay, so what will happen now if I execute this line? So the jump will actually go to the A31460. Okay, and sometime even sometime I also get confused with the jump not 0. So here thing is like a 0 JAD flag is 0. Okay, and it is jump not 0. So test ex, it will actually set the function. Okay, and then it will actually jump. So what we will actually do right now, that if so we are confident that this function will return actually 1 inside the ex, and these two things will get affected because of this ex value. So what we will normally do is we will just press the space button over here. So you need to highlight this button, the jump not zero function. Okay, and then you just write with any instruction. So one of the instructions that I will be using is nop. And why I am writing this is because, so there are two ways now you can kind of evade from going to this jump. So one thing that you can do is like you can replace this jump not zero with jump zero. Okay, so that's one of the thing. Okay, by which you can fool this malware, that what will happen, like even the value is 1, it will jump, it will not jump to that one, and it will execute this line, the next line over here. Okay, if I replace this line with jump 0. But a more better idea is actually to kind of rather than changing the jump instruction, okay, what you do is like normally you replace that, you just click this button and then press space and then go and write over here nop. So nop actually is a instruction. What it the kind of what you say, uh, the hex value of that is 90. Okay, and it is something like pass. So you might recall, like when we write the pass function, when we are doing some coding in C or Python, what happened, that instruction does nothing, right? So it does nothing. So what we'll do is we will kind of replace this instruction with nop instruction. Okay, so let's go to a PDF before changing that. Okay, so as I told, we can modify the jump not z, okay, to jump 0. But the other way is kind of, to better option is to use the nop instruction. Okay, so what we'll do is kind of we will fill that with the nop instruction. And the other thing is that the nop instruction actually kind of utilize only 1 byte. Okay, so what will happen is that but this jump not 0, this thing is actually utilizing 6 bytes. So we will always check this window fill with nops. Okay, and let's see if I can rightly do that. If I just press space and fill with nops. No, it didn't happen. So let's click and nope. Okay, now is it clear that that instruction was utilizing 6 bytes? So that's why what happened, Ollie debug actually helped you, that you don't waste time in calculating the bytes getting utilized by the jump not 0 instruction. It will automatically check for you that, okay, that instruction is utilizing 6 bytes, so it will actually write 6 nop inside over here. So what will happen, like because of this, it will not break the offset going below. So because if you write only 1 nop, maybe the offset will be less and the other portions will actually get affected. Okay, so this is one of the technique by which you can do. And now if I execute that, what will happen, even if this malware is running inside a debugger, what will happen is like the malware won't be able to actually detect that if it is running inside debugger or not. Okay, so that is one of the thing that you can use. But now the thing is, there are some other thing which you can actually help is you can also save this patched one in a new kind of executable. And to do that, what you can also do is, and so now as you know that, okay, what I have done is I have removed this old instruction with a nop instruction. Okay, and now the thing is like you have done that at lot of places, but you want to see what all places you have like kind of changed those codes. Okay, so how you can do that is you go to the view window, okay, view tab, and then go to the patches. If you do it, if you click on this patches, you will be showing up this screen. And over here you can see that, okay, this was the old instruction and this was a new instruction that I have replaced. And even the good part is, if I do a right click, you can actually restore the original code over here. So if you think like, okay, that was not the correct decision to make, so you can just click restore original code, and it will actually again replace the nop with the original code that was there. So it's very handy when you are like trying to kind of do a patching at a lot of places. So I will just stop for now and we'll take any questions if you have till now.
Yeah, Pragyan, I have one question.
Yeah.
So, that function where the malware is jumping to, if it is detecting a debugger, can we see that function, that what is the malware exactly doing, how it is terminating the program once it is detecting the
Okay,
debugger?
okay, okay. So there are two things over here. Let's then go to the patch window and then right click and do a restore original code. Okay. So now the NOP is not there. So we won't be seeing this function. This function is something inbuilt of Windows, how they are doing the is debugger present. So it won't be, but we know that this is one of the function. So what we can also do is let's go to IDA Pro quickly and go to the IDA view, and let's go to the functions and let's see what the function name was. And the function name was jump not 0 A31460 A31460. So let's press Z A31460. Okay. Okay, just 1 minute. So let's go to this function directly from here itself. So we will jump to this one line by line, and now we are here, and you can see in this A31460, it is actually what we'll do is like let's go line by line, and it will actually return. It is doing some return, and then it is calling some other function. So this function actually what is happening over here, it is trying to terminate itself. Okay, so let's see that if it is terminating. So it is again calling this function. So let's go to that function. It is calling this, it is returning, and then leave and then return. And you see there is a function now, it is called mbcrt.exit, right? So now
Yeah.
if I, yeah, so if I do this now,
Okay.
yeah, mostly it will like get terminated now. There's nothing, yeah, more, I think. Yeah, it will get terminated after some calls. Like once that is getting called, it will actually terminate. Maybe it will, what it will do is like maybe it will there will be something to delete itself. Once a debugger is present, it will maybe delete some of the IOCs which might have been created when it got executed. So maybe it will do, so most of malware might do, and post it will exit from there. Okay, so yeah, yeah. So now if I do a restart and do a play, and now we are inside this function, and now what we'll do is before getting this line called, we will click here, we'll fill this with NOP, and always check this button, fill with NOP. We'll do assemble. Assemble is done, and the quick part was seeing the patches. We can see the patches from here, we can restore the activity. And now what will happen is like if you run this for most of the time, it will actually run. Now it will create some more IOCs to maybe the network behaviors or some file behavior, it will create more rather than what it was creating before. And maybe it will terminate again because of the other function like get tick count or some other functions. But this is one of the way, by using just assembly language, you can actually kind of, oh fine, it is actually running now, you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so now it is actually running, and we were able to actually evade this detection successfully, just by kind of changing that instruction. And also this, I'll just like to say is that this knowledge is not just for utilizing in malware. Like suppose many times you are using any it's got executed terminated now, but like suppose you are like utilizing any software which has some license key and all, so you can like use this technique again and patch the software. Okay, and what will happen, even if you give a wrong license key, the software will run. So you can use this knowledge. Yeah, yeah, please pardon, yeah, please tell Saidip.
No, no, nothing, Pragyan. So this would have got terminated because of other one, like
Yes,
a tick count, right?
yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, but what I was telling is that yeah, you can use this again knowledge in other things also, where you can like evade the license detection and maybe use the software for free just by patching the code. Okay, now the thing which will come into your mind is that okay, now we are running this in debugger, but what if like we want to save this executable in a fresh executable out of this executable, such that we don't have to every time go to debugger and load that. So the new executable will have that patching over there, and kind of we can just execute it and it will actually work. So there is a way to do that. After modifying, you can actually save that executable in a new executable, which is like kind of a holding the difference, the NOP that we have changed. Okay, so what we will do is like we will continue in this session. Let's take a 5-minute break, okay, from here, and let's connect back in the same thing, and then we will like go forward and saving the executable into a new file. And post I will be discussing one more malware sample, and we will then close this training for today. Okay, so let's connect back in 5 minutes. Will that be fine?
Yeah, Pradyum.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.